All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we're going to now talk about the Chiefs or likely franchise tagging Trey Smith, as well as taking a look at who else could be franchise tagged. Now, I did want to address what Anthony said. He said, I think this is just an aberration. This is still on basketball. I think this is just an aberration to me with the Warriors. I think they're going to end up missing the playoffs. Now, when you say that, do you mean that they're going to miss the playoffs entirely, like not even the play-in, or you just think they're going to be a play-in team and get knocked out? I don't know. I mean, they're playing really well, and they're in striking distance of passing, the Clippers. So if they could do that, they'll be in, and they're going to be a dangerous team if they get in. So back to football, though. So the Chiefs are planning to franchise tag their offensive guard Trey Smith, and he was going to be one of the top free agents this upcoming offseason here. And it's going to be worth up to $23.4 million, and that actually would surpass Landon Dickerson of the Eagles, his $21 million per year contract. And they have until July to work out a long-term deal. Otherwise, Smith is going to play under the tag in 2025. Now, Brett Veach, speaking with the media, said he's optimistic that they could reach a long-term deal, and we'll see if they deliver on that. But offensive line is going to be something the Chiefs are going to have to address. Now, it'll be better knowing that, you slide Joe Thuney back to his natural position, and then you got Trey Smith, you got Creed Humphrey. What the Chiefs really have to work on is the tackles. The tackles were a major problem. I mean, the offensive line was a problem in general in the Super Bowl, but the tackles is what they have to fix, and we'll see how they do that. But Trey Smith, T. Higgins, those are the two candidates, or those are the two guys that are likely going to get the franchise tag. Other than that, though, it doesn't seem like the franchise tag is going to be used by a lot of teams. It seems like there's going to be very few teams using the franchise tag this time around. Because, I just was like, oh, well, what are the Vikings planning on doing? All signs really point to them letting Sam Darnold test free agency. They are not going to give Sam Darnold the franchise tag. And you know what? I don't disagree with them. I don't. I think that's the right move. Let him go out, test the market, see what he gets. And, if a team offers him a contract that, the Vikings don't think he's worth, then let him go. Let him go. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think Sam Darnold is worth the price that he could get, because he had a very good season, and I give him a lot of credit for it. But he had a very good season because of where he was. If he ends up going to a team, like if he goes to the Raiders or he goes back to New York and plays for the Giants, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he goes there, he is not going to have the same year. And you saw how he looked the final two games that he played for the Vikings. That is probably what has scared off a lot of teams. You don't want that. And like I said, I don't blame the Vikings for not franchise tagging him. But the Vikings are just in a weird spot, because do you bring him back and, let J.J. McCarthy sit? Like, are they going to go into the year with J.J. McCarthy as the quarterback? I guess they could. They could do that. Or do they want him to continue to sit? It's odd, but hey, they let Kirk Cousins walk, but different circumstances, because he was hurt. I think had Kirk Cousins not gotten hurt, I think maybe, the Vikings and him, they would have figured it out. Maybe. But that's just me. So, yeah, it doesn't look like Darnold is going to get the franchise tag. Looking at some of the other potential candidates, Javon Holland of the Dolphins, maybe, but it doesn't seem like the Dolphins are going to use it on him. DJ Reed of the Jets, doesn't seem like they're going to use it on him. there's not really that many guys you look at. Now, the Cowboys, Osa Odigizua, defensive tackle, could be a guy they potentially use it for, but maybe not. The Texans don't really have anybody. The Colts, a lot of their guys that could have been free agents, they ended up re-signing. The Jaguars don't have anybody. Yeah, there's not really. Doesn't really seem like there's going to be that many. So the Giants, I mean, their top free agent is Darius Slayton, but they're not going to use the franchise tag on him. Actually, the Eagles, that's who I wanted to talk about. The Eagles could be a team that maybe uses it because you got Zach Bond, you got Josh Sweat, and Milton Williams. I don't think they're using it on Milton Williams. I think you're either going to use it on, if they were to use it, it's either going to be on Zach Bond or Josh Sweat. Because Zach Bond, under the radar signing, ended up having a great year. I don't think the Eagles are going to want to lose him. And when we were going over, their free agents, some of their free agents are their linebackers. So, you don't want to lose all of them. I don't think you want to lose him. He had a pick in the Super Bowl, played really well all year. You don't want to lose him. Josh Sweat, one of your edge rushers. I mean, we'll see what they end up doing. But maybe they don't franchise tag anybody. I could definitely see them doing that though. We're looking at some of the other teams here. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like anybody is going to use. Not that many teams are going to use it. So right now, like I said, the teams that are definitely using it, it's going to be the Bengals, and it's going to be the Chiefs. And then we'll see who else decides to jump in and use it. The deadline is coming up, so we will see if there's any last-second decisions there when it comes to the franchise tag. And also, if you hadn't heard, and I know we talked about this earlier in the week, but Travis Kelce is definitely coming back. It was made official. So, it was made officially official. So they will have him back for his 13th season. But yeah, no, we're in the final day of February. We get to March, and the new league year is going to start. Baseball season is going to start. March Madness. March is going to be an exciting time. March is going to be an exciting time, and then you get to the the home stretch of the NBA regular season. As their season winds down, Stanley Cup playoffs. There's a lot coming up. There's a lot coming up. But yeah, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. But let me know what you guys think, though. Who do you think who else could potentially get franchise tagged? Yeah, this seems like one of those years where, like, nobody's going to get it. Not really that much. Unless I'm wrong, and then all of a sudden you have so many players end up getting it. But it doesn't seem like there's that many. I think the two teams that are likely using it, I think the players that they're using it on, it's important. For the Bengals, I think they do have to keep T. Higgins. They got to find a way to keep him and Jamar Chase, keep them all together, because that's a very good trio with them two and Joe Burrow. And Jamar Chase benefits from having T. Higgins on the team. And there's a lot of unknowns outside of those two guys with the receiving core. I know Yoshi Voss, he was pretty good at times for them last year. The rookie Jermaine Burton only had like 4 catches and some off-the-field issues. So who knows if he's even going to be a factor. They're also going to try to bring back Mike Gesicki, because I think he's a free agent. But he was good for them at times. Chase Brown, the second year back, he took a step forward this year. I think they'll probably add another running back, but we'll see. But yeah, no, T. Higgins, if the Bengals can keep him, that would be very good for them. And then for the Chiefs, even if they were to lose Trey Smith, now you got to remember also they franchise tagged L'Jarius Sneed and then they ended up trading him. So who's to say they don't do that with Trey Smith? But you know, keeping him around and making sure that he doesn't leave, and if he were to leave, it's on the Chiefs' terms. They end up trading him. That's good because you can get something back for him. But yeah, the offensive line, like we said, that is something that needs to be addressed by the Chiefs, and they did a great job a few years ago doing that after they got shredded in the Super Bowl by the Bucs. Same thing applies here after playing against the Eagles. So we'll see what other moves they make, and between free agency and the draft, we'll find out. We'll find out. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we are going to continue our season overviews, and today we will be talking about the New Orleans Saints. So we got through every team in the NFC East, and now we are moving on to the NFC South. So we will be talking about the Saints when we come back. So, for one final time today, make sure to stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Sports Podcast.